I have Tracer with me in the car, and I'm at a park that she's never been to. Now the goal for today, what we're going to do is I'm proofing the dog. I'm making sure that the dog can, do what I taught her to do, but do it in places that she's never been in. She's never been here. So what I'm going to do is set up some weave poles. I want her to do the weave poles, and not only do I want her to do the weave poles, but I want her to do a reverse retrieve at the end. So she holds the object, does the weave poles, and then drops it into a receptacle. I think she'll be just fine. If she doesn't do it, if she has any issues, I'll put the leash on her and make sure that she can do it. That's important. Hold. Come on, heel. No, over here, heel. Weave. No, Tracer, get back here. Come on. Tracer. Weave. Put it in there. Fucking all right, dude. Let's do it one more time. Oh, it's over here. Here. Sit. Hold. Wait. Go put it in there. Drop. Awesome, man. Really good job. That was a total success. Now she has an e-collar on, but I don't even have the remote with me because it's charging. She's totally compliant. There was a standard poodle that walked by. No problems. Dog was great. I have 3 pheasant wings, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them down on this dirt road, and then I'm going to get Tracer and see how she does with hunt 'em up. She has not been here either. This is a totally new place. Remember, anytime the dog is doing something new, it's going to make it more difficult for the dog. So I can gauge how she functions here, how she's going to be when the owners come in a few days. She has to be able to do this. If she can't do it, it's not a big deal. We'll come back tomorrow, and we're probably going to come back tomorrow, and instead of 3, I'll lay down 4. Let's see how she does. Hunt 'em up! Good girl! Here! Good girl! Heel. Hold, heel. Sit. Good, drop. Tracer, hunt 'em up! Good girl. Good girl. Here. Here. Good girl. Heel. Sit. Drop. That's good. So far, one, Tracer. Tracer, hunt 'em up! Tracer did find the 3rd one. I had to shut this down because some idiot walked into the area that wanted to interact with Tracer. Is it a friendly dog? Yes, the dog won't bother you. Starts bending down, trying to get Tracer's attention. So annoying. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to use a dummy launcher and see if Tracer can find the dummy launcher and right down this road. So let me put the camera down and go get Tracer and see how she does. I have a real light load in this. I have a load that I use for a starter pistol. That's important. When you first start doing this with your dog, use the lightest load possible. Use the browns, work up to the greens, or try this. Now, if you use the real light loads, if there's any moisture in this at all, it's not really gonna go, but that's okay. You might get 5 feet. This thing will work. It is dry, and it'll probably go pretty far. Let's see if Tracer can get it. Tracer, heel. Sit. Oh, shit. Right when it goes in there, I know instantly that it's lost. I do. That's why I'm walking up there. I'm like, well, maybe there's a chance. But if you've ever hunted in that kind of stuff, I know that young puppy isn't going to be able to find it. So I'm going to try and look around for it. I can't find it. There's no way. I knew instantly. I'm like, oh, that's not good. It's not good. But, you know, it's part of dog training. Sometimes accidents happen, and that's all this is. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. It's not a problem. It's an example of why you need a dog when you go duck hunting or any bird hunting, because if it gets in something like this, which this is swamp, man, my feet are soaked, it's really difficult to find. And I don't know if Tracer's too young. You know, she was just running around like a maniac, which that's something that everybody should keep in mind. If you have a waterfowl dog and it's like a year old, it's not ready to do this. I mean, Tracer was so excited, I took her back to the car because it's like I can't even look for the thing because Tracer's running around like a maniac. So keep that in mind. Your waterfowl dog is not going to be ready to do this kind of stuff. You know, the first year. The second year, don't expect too much. Maybe after the third year, you have a pretty rock solid dog. But just keep that in mind that this is very difficult. Cattails, that's swampy. That's even harder for the dog to find. I honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to find this. I looked at the video to try and see where it landed, and it's just, you know, it's swamp. Like, look at this. It's really difficult to find. Is it the biggest loss? No, not really. Let me check over here. So my feet are muddy and soaked, so I'm done. It's the price of doing business. That's all. I'm not gonna look for it anymore. Now, losing that dummy, that's just the price of doing business. That was not a problem. That's happened before. It's happened before. The lady that got involved in our session, that really pretty much sucked. She was bending down, you know, trying to make eye contact, encouraging Tracer to go over to her. And then I'm like, would you please stop that? This dog is in training. And she said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And I said, well, you shouldn't be doing that to any dog. It's not your dog, and you're going to get the dog in trouble. She said, oh, really? And I said, yes. And if the dog goes over and you start petting it and it's excited, you're going to condition it to be excited. And she says, well, I didn't pet it. She was trying to. She's bending down, pretty much calling the dog over to her. I was as calm as I could be. I was just like, look, just don't worry about it. And I put Tracer in the car until she left. And then I lost the dummy in the swamp. I backed up the video trying to look for it. I'm telling you, unless you've been hunting and you're in that kind of stuff, you don't understand how hard it is to find. You have to have a dog. This dog hasn't been doing it that long. The swamp stuff, it's like plant material and all kinds of stuff that's just, you know, rotting. So the smell is incredible. It's very hard for a young dog to find, and to be able to see it in that is difficult too, because it just gets covered in mud. So you got to have an older dog to find it. There was a point where I'm like, I'm just wasting my time. I have another one at home, so let's just move on and we can work the dummy launcher another place. But I like to work it in that area, and I have lost a dummy before in that area. So it's really, it wasn't a problem. It was not expected, but there was always a possibility of losing a dummy when you're working in cover like that with a young dog. So remember that. There is a point where it's like, don't waste your time. Just get get new training tools. If leashes are old, replace them. If you lose a dummy, cut your losses and move on and get a new one. My feet. This car smells so bad. The dog definitely smells. She was running around. She was loving it. She was running around, acting all excited and like a nut. She stinks. My feet stink. I'm gonna take her back, hose her off, get her clean, and what else? Get dry shoes on. I'm gonna get like a fungal infection from that. It's really nasty stuff. It's the smell of duck hunting. It is. It's that smell. What is that called when cattails are pushed down on each other? Mush king or something like that? It's like cattails on top of cattails, just fermenting and rotting for years. It's just like you step into it. It's like this mud that stinks. That's the smell. It's the smell I'm smelling. It stinks. It does. It smells. Like I said, it's the price of doing business. It's no big deal. While I'm on that subject about the swamp, it's okay for your dog to go in it. It is. It's totally fine. But you do, when you get home, you do want to get all that bacteria off the dog. Definitely. Don't wait and do it the next day. Either hose the dog off or put the dog in the tub. I'm going to throw her in the tub. If the dog has an e-collar on, you definitely want to take the e-collar off. There's bacteria in that water, so take the collars off, just clean everything real good, and you won't have any problems. Also, while we're on the subject, say your dog goes swimming and your dog is like a lab and goes under and then comes up, so they get water in their ear. You can use a solution of 50% white vinegar to water and put it in like a ketchup bottle or something like that, like a squeeze bottle, and just squeeze a little bit in each ear and they'll shake it out, and then what that does is it changes the pH so that the dog won't get a fungal infection in their ear. And that's a huge problem, especially with dogs that have ears that flop over because there's not a lot of airflow. A dog like this, not so much of a problem because the ears are up, there's a lot of airflow, but still, err on the side of caution. She didn't go underwater or anything like that, but I just thought I would mention that because ear problems with dogs, especially retrievers, dogs like that, it's so common. It's so common. You have to stay up on it. Keep an eye on your retriever's ears. Always. They end up having ear problems, and then once they have them, then it just sort of perpetuates it. It's just like this ongoing thing with some dogs. It's not really, it doesn't have to be ongoing if you're mindful and know that the dog went swimming in a creek or we're at a river. Just when you get home, clean out their ears, change that pH, and you won't have any problem.